All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to week number 15. That is right, week number 15 of your 9410 Seminar on Cultural Heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. JSK Austin, and the first thing that I want to say is you all have made it. You all have made it. You all have made it. This is the last check-in video for this course, and it's the last week for this course. You have one more assignment, and that assignment is due when? I think it's the 9th, but let me check because I don't want to mislead you. All right, yes. Final paper prompts weigh in on library or cultural institution naming controversy or Confederacy argument paper, or if you elected to do a project, a cultural heritage project instead, that will also be due May 9th. If you have any questions on how to actually submit your proof that you did your project, just email me, austinj@missouri.edu, anyplace, anytime, anytown, and I will get back to you. But yes, you all have made it, and yeah, I do think that this class has been successful. I'm going to debrief a little bit, and I look forward to seeing your responses, your evaluations, I should say, so that I can know some things that I can correct, make better, things that are already working, and that sort of thing, and just continue to improve this class. One thing that, as I debrief, one thing that I will say with this iteration, this is the third iteration of this course, and this is a course that I've mentioned I've created. One thing that I feel needs to be stated is that I don't know exactly what's up with this section. And this isn't a good or a bad thing. It's not your fault. I do want it to be clear on this. It's probably something I did. But I will say that there was I feel that I was able to build more of a community with the first and second, the spring 20 and the spring 21 courses that I did, as opposed to the spring 22. You all did very great. That's not a knock on your performances. It's just that I want to recreate some magic that I don't feel actually occurred here. My previous two iterations of this course, it was almost like my students became friends with one another. It was like they were, and I think the pandemic might have something to do with it. Not that I want to blame the pandemic, but it is what it is. So I hope that it's due to the pandemic, but for my spring 20 and my spring 21 classes, basically what happened was they became a community. They were, they were corresponding a lot in the class. They were really responding to each other a lot. They were, they were becoming friends. They were talking, some of them were talking to each other and adding each other on social media outside of the class. But I'm hoping that the reason why I have not been able to recreate that, and again, y'all have been very active, so I don't want this to sound like I'm criticizing y'all. That's not the case at all. Again, if it's anyone's fault, it's my fault. But I do want to recreate that magic because I want to build community, because again, that's kind of what we do in cultural heritage. We build community. And I don't know, it didn't feel like you all were quite as bonding with one another as my previous classes did. But I wonder if the pandemic had something to do with that. Maybe if people were quarantined and not able to go out as much, then maybe they were relying on communicating with each other more. And now, we've got mass restrictions being lifted. People are going out and about. I don't think you even need masks on airplanes anymore. I get confused with that, honestly, because, I'm not flying anytime soon, but I think I saw in the news that you don't even need masks on the airplanes anymore. And if that's the case, then, we truly are opening back up, and then maybe you don't need a class like this, to have community with other people. So maybe that's it, but we'll see. I look forward to your feedback so that I can continue improving this class. Another thing, and I mentioned this in my response to one of your classmates in the week 14 module about food. One thing that I would love some feedback on, and you can put it in the discussion board sections, like the water cooler or the free for all, or you can email me, or you can put it in your evaluation or whatever. But with the food module specifically, I have a question as far as if that would be better served where it is now toward the end of the class, or if I should move that up. The reason why it's week 14 is because there's a lot of heavy content prior to week 14. You deal with the Confederacy. That's very heavy and draining. You're dealing with sexism with the Women and Cultural Heritage module. That is very draining and very heavy. So after doing all that, I did want to give you all the opportunity and give all of my classes the opportunity to have something a little lighter after dealing with that heavy subject matter. So that's why week 14 has a lighter subject matter. However, food is very important to the cultural heritage discussion. So I wonder if I should move that around to be a little bit earlier, or if you think that, yes, I should leave it where it is because it's a nice break after you have to deal with a module that explores sexism a lot and a module that explores racism and slavery and the Confederacy a lot. So that's why the chips have fallen where they've fallen. And now your final module this week is going to be Forgotten Heritage. That is something that I'm also thinking about moving the Forgotten Heritage to an earlier part of the course as well. It's just that I'm not sure what I would move to the end. It's always weird having that end module because everybody during the end module, everybody's like, well, I'm just focused on my paper. So I would want one of the lesser modules maybe to be the week 15 closeout module. However, when I look at all the modules, there are just things about them that I like. And one of the modules that I was actually considering moving to the end was the cemetery module. And then you all loved the cemetery module based on your comments way more so than the previous two classes did. So maybe the cemetery module is exactly where it needs to be. There are a few other things. And again, every iteration of a class is different. And that's something that I thankfully had a library science professor at the University of Tennessee tell me, because I did need to hear that because I was getting railed when I first got here because I taught the way I taught in the South, and then I learned that you can't teach in the Midwest the way you did in the South. It's very culturally different. So with that said, you know, I will say that I had this issue with, sorry, hold on. I will say that an issue that I do also want to fix, the music module was actually a big success in spring 2021. They all loved their music documentaries and discussing them, and some people even watched other people's documentaries. And we were not able to replicate that here, which again is not, that's not necessarily anyone's fault or anything like that. This isn't something where somebody's to blame, but I'm just saying, like, I do want you all to enjoy these modules, especially since this is an elective, and maybe I need to, what I was looking for were documentaries that would be free, and that would be, most of them would be less than an hour long. But it seems like going that route may have also gotten me some documentaries that weren't deep enough, and it seems like some of you wanted more exploration of your topic than you got in your documentary this semester. But you know, that's something else that I can play around with. I know that Chelsea, I know you got a really long documentary because your documentary ended up being one from Tubi as opposed to one from YouTube or PBS or something like that. And so yours was like an hour and a half long. But you were also still able to identify flaws and everything with your documentaries. That was good. But yeah, that's the big thing. I do just want to continue improving this course, but you all have been great. I've enjoyed talking to all of you. I won't name anyone because I don't want to sound like I'm picking favorites, but I will say that there are at least 3 of you that I'm hoping will pursue PhD studies in the future. You know, I've seen some very gifted essay building within the discussion board posts. You all's discussion board posts, I would say, are better than what I had in spring 20 and spring 21. So even though I didn't have the community there was a lot more scholarly writing there, if that makes sense. Like you all really had some essays that looked like they could be actually published. Ah, man, I'm almost at 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go slightly over 10 minutes, but we will keep it under 11 minutes. The last thing I want to say is if you did enjoy this course, Also, in addition to letting me know that in the evaluations, please also recommend this course to anyone that you know who is a friend of yours in this program or who will be entering this program. I would love to, I'm hoping to teach this every spring, that I will need at least 10 students each spring, preferably 12, but at least 10. And so, yes, word of mouth is the way that I will get them. So having said that, we will leave it there. Thank you all again for being such an excellent class. I learned way more from y'all than y'all learned from me, trust me. And with that said, and I love it. I love it. And I'm very willing to write pretty much any of you a letter of recommendation, just so you know. Just let me know when you reach out to me, be like, just to remind you, I was in your spring 22 cultural heritage class, and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay. You know, I'll do what I need to do for you. So with that said, yes. You all have very bright futures. I hope that you all have also looked at the discussion board posts, the discussion board prompt for the, that I said was for vocational guidance, where people are doing the interviews. Please look that over, because that will give you some ideas of other types of cultural heritage work that you can go into. Okay. And again, I'm going to leave it right there. That's it pretty much. So, thank you again. I am Dr. Jace, and I hope that your trust in me in taking this class wasn't misplaced. Have a great summer. We'll see you this summer if you're taking summer classes. Otherwise, if you're graduating, congratulations. And if you are going to be returning this fall, we look forward to seeing you. Bye-bye.